YouTube edition. Juanito, man, thanks for joining me again. It says here that Trump is now meeting with world leaders like Netanyahu, like making calls to Zelensky. Like it already seems to me like he's taking the reins. And not only that, but the Trump campaign has filed a complaint with the FEC accusing Biden and Kamala Harris of violating campaign finance laws by rolling over funds. Now let's cover this with a broad stroke here on this channel, but then we'll go deep into Nino's Corner.tv. But what? Well, you look like you're at a very interesting place, by the way.
Oh, I'm just having some fun. I just love these. Like this thing flew right up to the end. Look at how hammered it is from all of the landings on runways with
Damn.
ice and rocks and all sorts of things. It's just stunning. But just beat the freaking crap. But anyway, a lot of fun. But anyway, go ahead. I'm listening.
So,
hey, let me just tell you
seems
this.
to me.
Hold on. 1 second. Oh my gosh. Think about this. I talk about the numbers all the time with your listeners and other audiences, right? Think about what you just heard. The number, $91.5 million. They move it from, it's a bait and switch.
Yeah.
You're spending on one candidate. No, we're spending on the other one. Don't complain. And so 91.5, think about what they numbered with a 19. I tell you that 19 is the power number. And so why do they
17 was a power number?
No, 17 is the number of the flip, the reversal. It's the 17th book of the Bible, 17th letter of the alphabet.
Right. Okay. 19 is a power number.
Power number. It's based off of the other physics. In the other physics, it's 19.47 is the precise number. And that's where if you put a triangle inside of a circle, or more correctly, a tetrahedron, a three-base triangle, pyramid type structure. If you put that inside of a circle, like the old signs that you would see for emergency shelters, that if you draw a line at the center of the circle, like an equator,
yeah,
and then you look at where the base of that triangle is in the circle, from the equator to the base of the triangle is 19.47 degrees in a 360-degree circle. And that has to do with the bleed out point of energy in the other physics, in power over input, outcome over input in some of the other types of physics. So anyway, it's like a code, a little secret handshake thing for people that understand what that's all about. And they like to translate it into the rest of the world as their little, occult secret power number. So when you see something 19.5, when you round up from 19.47, it's 19.5. And if you round down, it's just a straight 19. So you'll see three numbers, 19, 19.47, and 19.5, but they all kind of mean the same thing. One, the 19 is just shorthand. The 19.5 is a little closer shorthand, and then the 19.47 is the exact number. That's why things like all the things that happened in 47, creation of the Air Force, the creation of CIA, things like that, Roswell. If you're going to do things that affect the whole world, you use a number like that and you emblazon it on something, and that helps you to, in their mind, it creates an imprint on that event or that circumstance that gives it more power out into the psyche of man, and also have to do with the other physics. Within their breaking the eight, breaking through the spiritual into the physical, and the physical and spiritual.
So it really is all occult spiritual stuff at the core of all of this.
Well, and remember, I've talked about the fact that, for example, all the major cities around the world have all sorts of occult imagery. And occult doesn't necessarily mean like wicked evil. It means hidden. And so they have like a hidden truth around certain things. And so they have hidden meaning and power from that, hidden energy or whatever. So you go to cities all over the world and you'll see buildings, you'll see street angles, you'll see names, statues, symbology, all of which is intended by people who are from those cults to give them meaning, power, and within their locations, and to gate energy to them and to their projects, to get occult and then spiritual, even forces outside the physical realm to assist them, to give them energy, to give them power. For example, Hillary, when she wanted to announce that she was running, or I should say announce, when she was at the tail end of the campaign in 2016 to, defeat Trump, she wanted to speak in this archway of Baal or Baal, Baal, that was an exact copy of the archway of Baal.
All of the wicked witch
that had been destroyed. Well, and because it was wicked and it was witch-like, because in an archway, a structure, a design, they are supposed to gate or be a gateway, a portal between the physical world and the spiritual world. The other forces of darkness, forces of good. And so she wanted to do this final campaign speech before the election from that portal. Well, a lot of us that knew what it meant, because the archway of Baal came from the city of Baal at the base of Mount Hermon, and that's the city that was dedicated to the sacrifice of children. It was built according to the legend, it was built by the 200 who came to Earth, fell to Earth, and then a little loud here. Let's see if we can show it here. It's kind of fun. Oh, the Zoom doesn't let me zoom in on the spot, but it's kind of fun. And he's not going to take off. He's just trying to get to the lakes and get where the wind's better. So the 200 made this city at the base of Mount Hermon, which is, by the way, the location where the highest altitude World Heritage Site is on planet Earth. And, people that like to talk about aliens and reptilians and giants and everything else. Well, that city of Baal is dedicated to 200 all male who fell to Earth, astronauts of some sort. And then at that city, if people brought their children to sacrifice them, then they would get protection, wealth, resources, health, whatever, from these giants that landed there at the top of Mount Hermon.
Were they giants?
And occupied.
You were talking about the Nephilim, right?
Well, yeah, there is. Yeah, depending on, remember, we're talking about other people's beliefs, religion, history. Does everybody that writes down history record it correctly? Okay. So you talk to 10 different kind of groups or religious people, and they all have a little bit different viewpoint on what it is you're seeing and what it means and who did it and the history, based usually in some kind of truth or fact, but oftentimes, they get little twists different. And we have a lot of stuff around the planet, by the way, that it's pretty obvious that someone came here. You have the Doge, where the star Sirius was at, and that it had other stars that you can't see with the naked eye near it. And so there's all sorts of stuff that's very bizarre when you get into that realm. But to get back to the main point, Within that kind of thing, here we have this very unusual number that you just mentioned, 91.5. The other thing they'll do sometimes is they'll jumble the numbers a little bit, but those that know what's going on, 91 is a reverse 19. And the 0.5 just kind of puts the little exclamation mark in there. You're supposed to kind of interpret what you're actually seeing. And it's like a sign, a secret handshake between other practitioners of certain
It's like
things.
a wink of an eye,
Yeah,
like we got you.
This is intentional. Well, and work with us type of thing, cooperate. So, for example, there was a building being built a few years ago. Was $195 million. Well, to most people, $195 million, what's that? Why not 200 million? Why not 190 or something like that? Well, that was the magic number, if you will. And it turned out that it was a building dedicated to these satellite space operations being built right in the middle of Washington, D.C. And even the congressman didn't know what it was all about. They knew something was up with it. When I was talking to the congressman that did the investigation, yeah, and it's got $195 million price tag. I don't understand what we're spending $195 million for. And the agency's behind it. I said, well, the secret handshake at 195. Well, it turned out it was.
Wow.
So
this is how they all communicate with each other.
It's like a secret handshake coded communication using the numbers and that have different meanings. So in this 91.5 number, to me, I would take that as a communication between the various players. We're doing this. Everybody fall in line. We're doing it together. And so don't get in the way type of thing. And that's what they do. They work together. They take teams. So they don't have to necessarily touch hands, whisper in somebody's ear, pass notes, down the aisle or something like that. They can see the numbers and know, I don't know exactly what's going on here. I just know I stay out of the way. And if I have an opportunity to help, I help. And that's kind of the way that they'll do a lot of this stuff. So here we have this amazing drama. And by the way, let me pass this on to you, Nino. So have you heard all the weather reports around the planet? Weather, newscasters, broadcasters, the last couple of days. But yesterday,
the hottest day on the planet.
Yes. So they'll do it on certain things. When they announced that, they were announcing it where the date had already become 7/23. 7's like a perfect number, but 23, anything that's emblazoned with 23 affects the whole world, is their belief. So, and why is that? Because it takes 23 chromosomes from each parent to make a new human. So it's a coded, worldwide planetary number. And so they'll do events. They'll make announcements on dates that have this 23. It's just a very, very common practice gone back for a long, long time. What's wild about that is that 23 is the number that we only understood from, chromosomes and things like that, the genetics in modern times. Yet that 23 was out there, centuries and centuries and centuries ago. So, millennia. So somebody knew something quite a long ways back. And of course, if you have aliens landing on the planet at Mount Herman, falling to Earth, well, where did they come from? Are they physical? Exactly. Are they real? They built a physical city. They built a physical city, and then they made the humans come bring sacrifices to them. They like tasty kids. I'm not kidding. They're, as horrible as that sounds, you have to wonder
And
Mount
that
Hermon
practice is still going on today, correct?
and a lot of this hidden stuff that we're seeing is actually some kind of a practice within some families even, that goes back, to ancient times, allegedly. You don't have to do anything wild. Just look at some of the artwork and stuff like that. Of course, there's something wild and bizarre going on here. So then, by the way, just as another thing, everybody's trying to get landed before too late in the day. Uh, you look at tomorrow. You have a 24. Okay, so 24 is a breaking the 8 number.
And that's when Biden's doing a speech.
Well, okay, so that's where I was going to go. Excuse me. We had a little smoke and it was getting in my lungs here. The a breaking the 8 number goes to the symbology of like the hourglass or the infinity sign. For example, the Toyota emblem on a car. If you look at it, you're looking at an infinity sign, but you're looking at it on its end, and you're seeing where the two loops come together at that center point. The car company is based its branding and its symbology on the infinity sign. You see with all sorts of car manufacturers where they have various symbology that is branded into what they've got for their emblems like that, because at some level various people believe that they're getting extra power, extra oomph from having the right symbology on there. But 24 is a breaking the 8 number, and the breaking the 8 is like, if you look at a mirror, the silvered plane on the back of the glass, that's where physical reality ends, and then spiritual reality, the ethereal, the reflection is on the other side. And so you'll see in music videos, you'll see it in TV commercials, all sorts of things where there's what we call a breaking the 8 symbology. And it's, if you break that glass, if you break that mirror, then you have the ability to move to the spiritual, away from the physical into the spiritual realm on the other side of the plane of that glass. That's pretty airplane. So what you're really having is a breaking the 8 ceremony. The 8 is reality is if you take the tetrahedron, the simplest shape in 3 dimensions is a tetrahedron. A tetrahedron is like a 3-sided or 3-base pyramid. It's the simplest thing that can exist in physical reality. Okay. If you take any point away, now you're in a 2D reality. There's no depth to it, just height and width, or length and width, and but there's no depth. As soon as you add one more point, you now have the simplest solid of the Platonic solids, which is the tetrahedral shape. And so, being the most common and the most basic shape, we see it all through physical reality over and over and over again. So it's got 4 points. 4 is this foundation number. And so in physical reality, 4 is the number of foundation. And so in a breaking the 8, 4 being the basis for physical reality, on the spiritual side, and it has to do with the occult understanding, the the spiritual side is also based on a 4. And the way that they look at it is as above, so below. It's a reflection. If I have a tetrahedron on this side of the mirror and it's a reflection on the other side, it's still going to look like the same thing, but it's the other way. So in witchcraft, in various occult things, it's this 4 and 4. If you were to break say uh, the infinity sign, which is like an hourglass, into two pieces. You'd have the 4 and the 4, the physical reality, the spiritual reality. And so this breaking the 8 is like breaking the plane of a mirror, and then the spiritual entities can come into the world through that portal, or the physical people in this 3D realm can go through and engage with the spiritual. And so they do this imagery with breaking the 8. In this moment, if you're about to cross over and gate spiritual forces into the world, doing some massive event, some huge thing that you want to affect, when the world is in that transition moment from a 23 or world day and a 24, a foundation breaking the 8, breaking the plane between physical and spiritual.
So let me ask you this: so if they're going to try to own the 24 tomorrow, correct?
I would say that's possible. You know,
Wouldn't
if
Trump?
the reports are true.
Do we have to play by the same rules? I mean, does Trump have to do the same thing and try to steal that number back, or is this just their belief system?
Well, actually, this
we have
is
to
an
beat them at
important
point. Their own game is what I'm asking.
Right. What you want to do? How you doing, guy? Huh? Oh, I had a brown lab, and he just loved to be petted. Hey, guy, how you doing? Huh? Yeah, you're beautiful. Okay, all right. He got petted. He's happy now. All right. Had a chocolate lab like that, just beautiful like that. I loved him. Nice thing about when you get to have a farm, but I haven't got a farm anymore, so I don't have a place for my pets. But when you have these types of things, don't think for a second that, for example, people around Trump himself, good guys, they may be very, very aware of the occult symbology. You can't live in Washington, D.C. and not understand what's going on. You're immersed in it everywhere. Every place you go, everything
the
you
obelisk.
do.
I mean, the whole pattern of Washington, D.C., the whole city is mapped out by the occult, correct? I mean, it's all numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
You got it. And so you know what's going on, and you're aware of it. And you're aware of the little games. So if you're going to try and you know, have a competition of signing and affecting things, you might very well do things on the other guy's date just to mess with them. So, for example, today, the Trump people filed complaints with the National Election committees, complaining that this money being transferred from the Biden campaign to Kamala's presidential campaign was a violation of campaign finance laws, and that they couldn't do that because you have donors that donated for Biden for his campaign. They didn't donate for Harris for her presidential campaign. So there's a question whether or not that's legit, and they'll fight it through. You're going to mess with them on their dates, their numbers, their activities. And then, doing it when the numbers are this magical number. Well, you can't leave that unanswered. If they're trying to get power from something they're doing, well, go mess with it and stop it, before they get a chance to complete what they're trying to do.
So I saw that after the assassination, Sheila Jackson passes away. Kimberly Cheadle has stepped down. I mean, they're in hot water, but and now Kamala Harris is making a move. Juan, I mean, it seems to me like everything is in chaos. The whole party, both parties are in chaos. The deep state. What? I mean, I understand the numbers thing, and I know how they're trying to own the day, the date, whatever. Tomorrow, Biden's going to make a speech on. I guess he's going to pass the baton to Kamala, correct? But
that's what some people are saying. I wouldn't bet on anything till it happens. Remember, expect the unexpected. I remember the day that the governor in Arkansas, who'd been convicted of crimes, was supposed to step down. And he said he was going to step down in so many days and pass the baton to the next guy because of his legal stuff. At the last second, he changes his mind. Old Beaver there. Looks like a pretty nice one. He was going to pass the baton, and at the last second, he didn't. He says, "I've changed my mind. My attorneys told me we can't let go." Well, that was the beginning of the Huckabee governorship in Arkansas. Huckabee was there, all of his people. I was there at the time. It was an amazing moment. And then the governor, at the last possible second, minutes to go before the ceremony handing the governorship over to Huckabee, the lieutenant governor, he backs out. People went crazy. And within just a matter of hours, the governor had to change his mind, withdraw, and hand over the presidency. The governorship. We don't know, and neither do any of the rest of these players. You think that a lot of this stuff is pretty settled in stone, and it really isn't. These people are all trying to take their best shot at something. I mean, think of a sporting competition and the soccer ball gets kicked around. You think it's going to be right up at the goal, and then the goalie gets it and throws it back, and you're all over again. Hockey, that puck's almost to the net, and then bang, it's halfway across the rink again. Expect the unexpected. Even the players
we kind of can expect what they're going to do if we know their dates and numbers. We kind of know, like, if they're following a pattern, then we know that we just need to follow their pattern. That's their playbook.
Well, and so on the numbers, Nino, and this is really important also. You don't always get what you want. Just because they want to do something a certain way doesn't mean that they get their way all the time. And they're trying to do things within certain seasons, certain dates, under certain celestial alignment. But they screw up. We had a huge couple of shows over a year ago where I explained to you all these different events that they had planned. These Kabbalists, these, power groups had planned for America and the world, and a multitude of them did not come to pass the way they tried to do it. With all the best laid plans of mice and men, they failed to pull off their little schemes, including a nuke in Seattle.
Juan, I'm going to say right now, I'm just going to let my audience know, and this is not going to make YouTube, so we got to make a different video.
Oh my God!
No, there's just too much here. Sacrificing children, and we can't, Juan. I got to be. I'm the Pied Piper of YouTube. There's a reason why I'm still on there. Trust me. Trust my instincts on this one. So let's finish this one for the back channel, and then we could talk about something else on YouTube. But this is interesting stuff because I know you're correct in all this. This all goes back to occult beliefs. This is esoteric, correct?
Yeah, they have certain things that they believe, and they operate accordingly.
So let me ask you this. So it looks like they're taking their own players out. I don't know if Sheila Jackson was murdered or what, but she dies, I think, just after the assassination attempt. Obviously, they tried to kill Trump. They missed. Now they're in, oh shit, what the hell do we do mode, right, Juan? Or are they still just so arrogant that feel?
No, they're not getting their way. Everything they're trying to do is failing them. No matter how much they try to just get it right, seems like they're the Keystone Cops. The best laid plans of mice and men, right?
Right.
Everything they're doing, they just can't seem to get things to go right for them. And think about all of the people floated about as being who should be, on the ticket with Kamala. If Kamala is going to run for president, who would be her VP? Does she even qualify to be president? Nobody's even figured out if she qualified to be president.
Well, they're making up the rules as they go. They don't
there's
even give a shit.
Well, and so how many times?
So what? So let me ask you this: why are they struggling?
And other audiences. Yeah.
Why are they struggling? If
once they got off their game, have you ever, you know how it is from boxing. Every athlete knows it. You get off your pace a little bit. You get off your zone just a little bit, and doggone it, man, it's hard to get your balance back. It's hard to find your sea legs, right? So they're off balance, and they've reached a point now where, they've taken a couple of hard punches that they didn't expect. Everything they brought at Trump, and Trump only gets stronger.
He's like absorbing their energy.
Well, it's actually even a little different than that. And like in was having this explained to me. I didn't know this. I'm a kid, and I stretched a rod in one of my rigs, and it let a piston come flying up through the crankcase. It just destroyed that motor. It was really upsetting because it was a really valuable motor. And that was nice. He did a great job. With those rods, what they would do is they had a process called shot peening, and they would take the rods and they would put it in a kind of a big tank, and they would fire little ball bearing BBs at the rods, and what it does is it shot peens them, and it makes them harder. It causes the metal to kind of get work hardened, and they can also do it with they fire nitrates at certain types of parts that they want to be a little extra hard, certain types of screws and things like that. The jack screw on the Flight 261 Alaska plane that crashed, that rod had been hardened, firing, essentially extremely tiny, molecular size things at it that shot peened that material, made it hard, but it was only, just a very, very thin surface, a couple millimeters at the most. But it was extra, extra hard compared to the rest of the material. And so with that in mind, Trump has been getting hit and hit and hit and hit. What's it done? It's work hardened him. He's tougher than he was when he even began. It's driving him crazy.
They can't figure out how he even missed that bullet. I mean, they're like, how did you turn your head the right direction? How'd you know to I heard that Biden asked him that. Is that true?
I don't know. But
it's just hearsay. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know that that's true. I will tell you this. Even they're fighting in a spiritual war. Okay, well, who's on the other side? Is Trump, for all the people that we have out there that want to say that Trump is somehow, the Antichrist, the devil incarnate, some horror. In reality, I would contend no. He's doing something that he may not be doing it from the pulpit, if you will, church on Sunday kind of a thing. But the other side of the coin is he's done stuff that's pretty, straight arrow wholesome. They try to villainize him. The saying is, "Him whom the gods would destroy, they must first vilify." And so they've tried to vilify Trump. They've tried to bring the legal. They brought all the cases against him. And now we're in this Esther moment flip. It's like the breaking the eighth ceremony almost in reverse. Okay. What comes around goes around. This 17th letter of the alphabet, the Q, the flip, Esther in the Bible is 17th book of the Bible. And what's the whole story of Esther about? The flip, the reversal is, as Roseanne Barr says, the boomerang. So
Right.
now what's Trump doing? He's bringing lawsuits against them. He's going to be bringing lawsuits against the whole horde of them. Look at what happened with all the trading where Trump's stock was ganged up on by a bunch of people selling it short and getting ready for a big win had he been killed or injured the other day seriously.
Yeah.
And Truth Social would have gone down in value. Okay. Are those people that did that, did they have some special knowledge? Who are they connected to?
I mean, I would
You
imagine
think
they're
that's
being
not going to get
investigated right
answered?
now, right?
Oh, believe me, dude. They're not getting away with shit. And then look at this most recent one with CrowdStrike. We have reports that $500 million was made by people who bet on something going on with CrowdStrike and some crisis in the cyber world. And they got $500 million. But that's still just the trades we know about. Somebody was betting on against the dollar. But the other side of the coin is, and I told this to a lot of audiences, and I'm sure people, I've tried to make it as clear as possible. We're coming to a currency crisis, a banking crisis, a black swan. But I've said it a lot of times, before you actually get to the bad side of the crisis, you're going to see markets go up in value. The stock market do a sudden spike up.
That's what it's
The
doing right
dollar,
now.
right, doing a solidifying and doing a spike up. When you look at the dollar versus the BRICS currencies and then all the other minor currencies, the dollar is killing them all. I told audiences for years that the black swan would come out of Japan and that it would be first issues in Brazil, but then fairly quickly you'd see it in Japan. Why? Because it's our largest trading partner.
Yeah, and you were just there.
Yeah, I was just there. Yeah, and guys that I advised last year were pretty smart, followed the advice, and got there first to begin getting out of some of their bond positions and like that before things really went crazy. There you go. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it is.
I just love that. It never gets old, Nino. I'm telling you, it just doesn't get old.
Gorgeous, man.
And it's a beautiful day today too. It's just the weather's just couldn't be more comfortable. So when you think about it, why is that? It's because, for example, the stock market, it represents real buildings, brick and mortar, airplanes, cars, trucks, delivery systems, trained personnel, business relationships, etc. If the dollar is getting turned to goo because you're just printing it like madmen, and there's just no end to dollars, paper dollars, the actually dots and tittles on a computer screen being created, the value of the existing dollars goes down. So what they do, people take those cheap dollars that are getting cheaper by the day, that buy less and less, and trying to get something of substance. The easy one is, say gold and silver bars or something, or a coin,
Right.
which I prefer. Which, by the way, I've got to raise the price. I had my Megador 2024 come out, and we're gonna have to raise the price significantly here in a few days. But at the end of the month, actually, just anyways out there, those are going up at the end of the month, and you can get them over at thejennifermack.com or allpatriots@gumroad.com. And I think Jen put together a package or something that she's gonna do at the end of the month as we make another switch. There's another coin coming out, but we'll deal with that later. But anyway, so people are trying to get to tangible before things go crazy. But part of the question is, what kind of a tangible are you going to pick? Is it because on the far side of this crisis, what are people actually going to want to have? Do they want, uh, airplanes? Do they want race cars? Do they want art? Do they want something like that? Or do they want, property, a farm, something else? If you're going to send a lot of people home from America, a very significant number, if you believe Trump's telling the truth when he says, when I'm back, we're sending a whole bunch of people home. It's going to be the largest deportation in history. Is that going to take some of the pressure off of apartments? Is it going to take the pressure off for pricing for
Juan,
houses?
let me ask you
things?
this. Do you think the chaos comes during the pause in the election, or does it come when Trump gets back in there and announces that there's going to be a mass deportation? I would imagine it's going to come during the confusion of the election and when people start to realize Trump's coming back in there. I'm pretty sure they're going to go all in and just completely throw over the chessboard, right? I mean, it's going to get fucking crazy.
Well, this is an important point, and I want everybody to slow down mentally, take a deep breath. First off, America's not going anywhere. We're all going to get through this. If you're got your wits about you, you're paying attention. I think we'll do well. God help everyone in this audience. With that said, that doesn't mean it's without some drama and some fisticuffs and some horrors in there, some scary, gripping moments. How long is that going to last? You keep people, they love the Q post, 10 days of darkness, that sort of thing. It's not over in 10 days. Trump himself has said it's going to take about 4 years to clean this mess up enough to,
and that's once he's in. And that's just once he's in. I mean,
that's right.
What about the period of time that he's not in, like now and then the pause? The pause is coming, correct, Juanito?
Yeah, the pause will be here, but you have to kind of picture that that's like a 2-minute warning. Okay. When that happens, you're close to the end of the game, but you aren't at the end of the game. There's a lot of stuff has to happen. Everybody gets a timeout. You get to collect yourself a little bit. The banks don't work. The bank machines don't work. So you can't go to the gas station because the computers don't work. Your cell phone ain't working.
So they're gonna go all in. They're gonna go all in the pause.
Well, the pause is
so that's when people. Sorry, folks. I'm sorry I keep interrupting, but is the pause when is what we're preparing for? Is that when we need to be prepped with water and food and gold and silver? When the pause comes, that's when we're going to need to have that stuff.
Well, let me just say this one thing. If you have gold or silver, and a lot of people look, there's a lot of people when we talk to YouTube and like that, they fuss because, and they're not kidding, and it's not. I don't take it lightly. They can't justify even the small amount that you and a few other channels they'd like to listen to cost a month because it's that close for them, and so they look forward to us doing a YouTube and like that. They just have to understand there's things we can talk about and things we can't within that environment. It's not because we're trying to be creeps. So with that in mind, what do you got to have if you can't have gold and silver? Well, if you got other stuff, let's say you have gold and silver, Nino, and then you want something, you're going to pay for it with that. What's the guy got that you want? Does he have food? Does he have something else that you need? If you have the right stuff, you might not have gold and silver going into the pause, but there's a lot of guys can come out of the pause and they'll have all the gold and silver. And the guys that started this whole thing at the beginning, they had gold and silver. And now they just got taken care of for a few weeks or months or years and did okay.
So I just want to explain something to my audience real quick because they don't. I think they get mad at me And the truth is, even your name, Juan, your name on YouTube is like a hot burning coal. That's why I had to put up there
That's true.
Juanito or stuff like that. If I put 107, I had to be so vague on everything I'm doing. It's a hot burning coal. It signals all the AI. They'll just wreck my channel, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm doing the best I can, and I hope people understand.
Well,
And
that's why you started using Juanito. We were trying to get a step ahead because if they just saw, 107 or then just Juan or whatever, they just come after it mercilessly.
yes,
We did the one the
exactly.
other day with Cheyenne, the 12-year-old that people should go over and watch. That is very fun. And
That's
she's
over at
12 years old.
Rumble, Nino's Corner on Rumble, folks.
Yeah, but we didn't put 107 in there. And then, yeah, the views were down, but also all of the stupid ass comments weren't near as vicious because they didn't know to go look there, right? At least
Right? Yeah.
early on. Yeah, I mean, I'm interviewing a 12-year-old girl who's trying to be the first ever to run a 50K marathon over the Denali, a mountain pass. She's a superstar in so many areas of her life, and she's 12 years old. In third grade, she gets kicked out of her class because she's a Trump supporter, and she gets to where she actually goes to battle with the principal in the school district to get to wear her God, guns, and Trump T-shirt in Alaska. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and she's third grade, and her parents are like, oh my gosh. They're like, but they let her have her shot at it. She's you know, her grandfather's the political, run for office and like that. The parents are nice enough, but they're like, oh my gosh, where did the kid come from? Is it your genes or mine? But she's just a kid that you know how it is. You got lots of people that would love to be a boxer like you were. She's a mixed martial arts champion, and she's already got her green belt in kickboxing, and she hopes to have her black belt by the end of the year. That's a type of drive that is going to be critical in rebuilding America, reshaping America, bringing it back. And you know what's
Yeah.
funny? I tell you this too, just as an aside. Uh, I've had, I don't know, maybe 100 different kids who have gotten through friends and parents like that, notes over to me about things that they're doing, and every one of them is just like, oh my gosh, the girl is doing the barrel racing, 14, and she's a superstar. She's been practicing with horses since she was 4. Um, other kids that are doing competitions, because Cheyenne mentioned she was kayaking down the rapids on the Upper Kenai the other day, and then she turns around and rides her mountain bike 13 miles. She went 10 miles downriver on the kayak, and then turns around and goes 13 miles on her mountain bike, and get training for her 50K run. So I had some other folks that sent me pictures that are kids that are training for huge kayak competitions. I mean, very complex stuff. They're super athletes, but not just that. And then there was others. I had a friend out of the Netherlands sent me a picture of a whole class in the Netherlands, and they're competing in a math competition. And so they're working through some of this complex math, and we communicate periodically because that's one of the areas that I really enjoy. But I didn't realize it was as big as it is, and those kids are all in the 12, 14-year age bracket also. Um, it's amazing what the kids are doing. We actually, it gives you hope for the country. So then we come back to the conversation we were having a few seconds ago. When we talk about these crises that are coming, the desperate series of moments that are just ahead, we're not forecasting the destruction of America, the end of America, the end of hope. What we're really talking about is that we're going to be cleaning out a lot of the swamp. And getting back to a classic America, boy, is that a pretty plane or what? Coming back to a classic America that where you can have a dream and you can actually enjoy the fruits of your own labor, build something, and you get to keep it. It doesn't get taken away. It doesn't get stolen from you. It doesn't get taxed out from underneath you before you get a chance to enjoy it in your old age. That's coming. But look at these monsters, how gripping they are to try and stop it from happening because they're
it's
greedy.
Disgusting. It's disgusting.
Think about the personality, Nino, that was going to dance on the grave of Trump
Oh,
to get a few extra bucks in their pocket by shorting it. They expose themselves, show who they are, like it's a badge of honor to have shorted the Trump Truth Social stock.
Yeah.
And they were going to take that money. What were they going to do with it? What? They don't have enough already. They got to have more. They need to steal more.
Juan, am I right that they've all exposed themselves. They're in further deep shit now than ever. They were not expecting this to happen. They were expecting to pull this off.
Yeah.
Now if they were in quicksand up to their waist, now they're up to their eyeballs, correct?
Yeah. At some level, money is power. And if you have enough of it, there's things you can do. If you don't have enough of it, there's things you can't, right? So they get it. They're feathering their nest to stay viable and competitive with the people around them. Money is the mother's milk of politics. If you don't have the money, you're not winning anything.
But didn't Kamala
Trump
just raise 231 million or 234 million in one day?
Million.
Well,
here, let me clarify that. What they're doing in that is they're trying to convince you that she has that level of support. All of her competition should just stand down because they'll never be able to compete with all that money. The reality is, about a month ago, started stopping the flow of funds, and they had committed a steady flow of funds. A lot of these huge, big donors to the Biden campaign. All of a sudden, they stop sending their money, so it's building up. Then, when the decision is Kamala is going to be the one that runs, all of a sudden they release that, and it goes into Kamala's camp. That doesn't necessarily mean these are new donors and things like that. It's a little bit of a magic act. The money was coming somewhere anyway. It just happens to get diverted to something else. So I'm not convinced that it's as the support's that great over at the Kamala camp. And look, you got one of the big donors for Kamala was just on one of the channels the day before yesterday and said he's stopping donating. He will not donate to Kamala because he doesn't think she has a prayer to win.
Wow.
So again, there's this moment where I tell you what it's like, Nino. I was telling Roseanne Barr the other day we were talking. I said, you know what this is? You're watching the real food fight in Animal Farm.
Yeah, exactly. This is, and they're cannibals.
Oh my gosh!
Each other.
They're putting bowling balls and rocks in the food and throwing it, man. This is
Is this what's going to halt the election though? The fact that they can't get their shit together.
Well, look at what the issue is with CrowdStrike. Gateway Pundit ran an article the other day talking about the fact that even though it's not yet grasped or understood or whatever, this computer thing all over the world could very easily result in problems for computers related to the elections.
But it'll benefit them. It'll benefit them.
Well, if you're trying to pause the election,
which they're going to do,
I've said over and over,
that's when the jujitsu move happens. Correct?
Yeah, yeah. They're going to they're going to try to pause the election. They want to pause the election, and there you go, touch and go. Um, they want to pause the election because they can't win. So the last time around in 2020 during the election, the vote ended technically on November 3rd. Yet in counting the vote overnight on November 4th in the early morning hours, in certain states, they stopped counting the vote and they were acting like they, had a water pipe break and other
Right, but
stuff. And
nothing's changed. I mean, Dominion hasn't changed. I mean, I don't understand. Like, what are they?
look, uh, they all know there's cruise missiles coming at them. Okay, there's stuff coming, and they know it's coming, and they know in all the highest places. They're sweating bullets because they know that they really are about to get challenged in ways that they never got challenged before, and there's great danger for them if they make one wrong move. Look at Trump coming back in. If they get caught in any of the mischief they've gotten away with a billion times before, they could end up, getting caught and doing real time, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, I know it.
yeah. And just
They're
for
done.
anybody out there, just kind of the fun guys. So, if you look on a plane like this, it has really big tires on it, and so uh, those tires are so the guys can land up on these dirt runways and even tundra. And some of them have really big tires. Some of the planes are a little bit smaller, but lots of horsepower, so they can land and take off in very short fields. And uh, so it's not like the planes you see down on the mainland and like that. So
Well, Juanito,
that's what
I
they're
don't
from.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to get up to my parents' house. I got to lift my mom into bed, and I have to do that. So I'm getting
And by the
texted
way,
by
you
the
know what,
nurse.
bro? Let me just tell you. I know all through this audience, there's a lot of folks that um, wish they got the opportunity to do that with their parents. It's a gift. It's not easy, but the other side of the coin is you only get a chance to do it once.
It's it's
And it's
destroying.
a gift to get to do that. It may be hard, but you can't go back and duplicate it later. So you take a deep breath. Thank God you even get to be there and do some payback that they were there. There's a lot of folks that they don't get that opportunity with their parents, and you know, so you want
Well,
to
it's
savor and enjoy.
well, I love you, Juanito. Thanks, man. Folks, yeah, this I'm gonna put this on .tv, Juanito. Do you want to do a YouTube tomorrow then?
Sure,
Okay, I'll hit you up tomorrow. Remember, we got to keep it clean on YouTube. Can't
I
talk about
tried.
sacrificing
I
children.
tried.
You
I
can't even
tried.
say Hillary's name. They take channels down if you say anything negative about Hillary Clinton. Folks, I'm not messing around. Like this is seriously. I have people that work behind the scenes in YouTube, and they're always sending me messages saying this channel got taken down, that channel got taken down. Why?
uh,
Because they said this, they said that, and they don't even have to give it a clear explanation. You're just done. So that is why I do it on my channel. And then people say,
yep.
"Well, Rumble, Rumble, Rumble." I can't read ads on Rumble. So
Well, the other thing is that
and I can put old videos on Rumble, but I'm doing the disservice to the people that are already on my site. So people need to understand, and I hate explaining myself, but it is what it is. But Juanito, thank you so much for coming on, man. Everyone go to thejennifermack.com.
NINO, we
Thejennifermack.com.
didn't even get to the best part.
Oh shit. What's that?
NINO, you have the hottest day ever in the history of the planet. And what time of year is it in North America? It's
Oh, you told me harvest.
harvest season for corn.
Right now it is?
Yeah, you're starting to get the first corn, and I've had a bunch of people sending me
Really?
pictures.
I
They're
thought
getting
I
the
thought
corn out of
harvest
the field.
season was always September.
Oh no, no, shoot, they're pulling stuff out right now. They're already
Really?
getting the first early stuff. Yeah, and it'll be literally, um, we would get corn. I'd send the crews out, and they'd start picking early corn right now, and they'd continue picking all the way up till first week of September, depending on what was planted and where.
So really,
And
so end of July, beginning of August is harvest season?
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
there's
I'm
guys
not a
pulling stuff up,
farmer,
and
so
well, and Well, and plus we've had this incredibly hot year. So if you got water, you got corn, okay? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Nino. It's good. In America, we're going to have a bumper crop of corn this year. And you know why that's critical? All over the planet. In a few weeks, you're going to have desperate people, and it's going to last for months. Months and months. Desperate people. We're going to have a food crisis in America. You're going to go to the grocery store and you're not going to be able to find any popcorn. None. It's all going to be gone. If you're smart, you're going to the store right now and you're getting your popcorn while the getting is good. We're just coming up on the best stuff. And by the way, do you know what National Popcorn Day is, Nino?
No.
January 19th.
No, that's pretty great.
The power number. The power number. Can you believe it? And by the way,
I can't. Well, after you explained it, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Fuck.
Well, in Europe, it's 19-1. So that's a palindrome number. You put the date, the day, and then the month. Okay. So it's 19-1.
But isn't the true first of the year April Fool's Day? That's the real first of the year, isn't it?
Well, that's the date that was skipped over, and if you celebrate it, then you're a fool. When they changed from the Julian to the Gregorian calendar, and they started the calendar in the spring because that was planting season, and the year was built around the planting season or the planting season. So, in that prior era, so there's different calendars, but yeah, that's true. But I'm just telling you, everybody here, see. You got the hottest day on record. Get the corn, start drying it now so you have popcorn this fall when other people are struggling and don't have enough popcorn to get through the day and they're reaching in the bowl and the bowl is empty. You'll have popcorn for your family and your neighbors and your kids, and they won't be in popcorn deprivation, okay?
Got it.
This is the time. Get your popcorn. Get your popcorn, Nino.
All right. You got point taken. All right, Juanito. Thank you so much.
All right, bro. Love everybody.